jump back to the beginning. Sorry, I'm only on my second cup of coffee. Anyhow, anywho, anyway, what I was saying for the last, 15, 20 minutes. Anyways, folks, what I was saying, and you guys weren't hearing me, but I was babbling on over here on my end, is what I was saying is the situation that's brewing right now on La Palma Island is pretty damn critical, okay? There's been a lot of talk and there's been a lot of speculation pertaining to the collapse of this piece of land, this piece of mountain and volcano collapsing into the ocean, causing a massive tsunami that would make its way straight across the Atlantic Ocean, impacting the United States in 8 to 9 hours. Okay, the situation with the volcano, yeah, that's serious. It has done a shitload of destruction on this island if you guys have been watching this over the last 2 weeks. Okay, and earlier this morning I live streamed some footage of this volcano, and it just literally looks like the depths of hell. The lava has already reached the ocean. That's creating some toxic fumes from what I'm seeing in reports. There are also other volcanoes that just out of nowhere just started erupting. Vanuatu, I forget the name of the volcano in Iceland, has come to life. And there's one more. It's slipping my mind. But these volcanoes, all of a sudden, they're spouting off. This one here in La Palma, absolutely crazy. The footage is absolutely spectacular. I believe there are 2 camera views that have been set up. They have the cameras running 24/7. And earlier when I was watching it, I could swear to God that I saw this volcano spew out what looked like some big gigantic spherical boulders. And then they gradually kind of tumbled down into the lava. The video footage is miles and miles and miles away, and it's being recorded with high definition cameras with, probably very expensive telescopic lenses, so they can really get in clearly with high definition. And the sound, even though they are miles away, the sound is so intense. You could only imagine being there on the island and what this sounds like. And then, last week I saw some videos of the lava just literally pouring over top of houses, swallowing them up. A lot of the houses have in-ground swimming pools. The hot lava going directly into the swimming pools, steaming and then just disappearing. Everything in the path of this volcano and this lava is just disappearing, never to be seen again. So the whole area where this lava is flowing is forever changed and forever gone. Now, there's still people on this island. What they're thinking, I don't know. But if it was me, I'd be on the first damn flight out of there. So, anyways, that's what I was babbling about before I noticed that the microphone wasn't on. So you guys forgive me about that. What I was saying before I so rudely interrupted myself with no volume on my microphone. The reason why I haven't been on YouTube over the past, it's been pretty much the whole month of September, is I kind of took a little break from YouTube. One of the main reasons why I decided to take that little break was I lost contact with the server that I used to clear these photographs up from these coronagraphs. I do have someone that helps me out, that gives me the login information to use the dashboard so I can get into this this program. And it does take a long time. Sometimes it may take 2, 3, 4 hours to get these photographs back after they're cleared up. The last photograph and the last coronagraph images that I sent in was on August 24th. There was a coronal mass ejection at that point. And these photographs that you're going to look at right now, this was the last that I received. And they're pretty intense. And they're pretty revealing. So what I was talking about earlier with the muted mic was, look, everybody calls me a conspiracy theorist, and many others. They like to throw that term around. But if you've noticed, over the years, the conspiracies, well, they tend to be true. Isn't that right? Just look at the UFO community. For decades, it was all a conspiracy. It was all fake. Oh, okay. But now, it's mainstream media. It's big news. The government's come out and said, okay, yeah, that Navy footage, yeah, that was real. Okay. Yeah, we're looking into it. Okay. So it's not always a conspiracy. As soon as they start throwing that term out there, well, it just makes me dig a little deeper. That gives me the green light to say, okay, they're hiding something. But anyways, this was the last photograph that I was able to render. And I'm going to be attempting to go back through the whole month of September, which may take me a little while. I'll do it kind of day by day, and I'll see what I could find. And then I'm sure I'm going to find something, because the month of September on the sun was very, very active. So getting closer and closer and closer. Well, look, if you're not completely 100% legally blind and you're looking at your screen now, well, the picture speaks for itself. And I think that, look, I'm not trying to be some fearmonger here, but I think that there are some very serious changes that are going to occur on our planet in the years to come as we move further and further into this solar maximum. Okay, so we're at the very, very beginning stages of it. I believe the peak of the solar maximum, I think it's either June, July of 2025. So throughout the whole entire solar minimum, the sun failed to go to sleep. It just maintained its normal activity, which wasn't very normal at all. Almost daily large coronal mass ejections. Every single day during a solar minimum over that 11-year time span. 5.5 years going up, 5.5 years going down from the peak. Same thing is going to occur during this solar maximum. What I am fearing, and I will use the word fear because of what I know and what I'm seeing. So as we progress upward on that scale to the peak in 2025, Well, look what has occurred just over the past 5 years. It has been crazy. I mean, it's really been a crazy time. And that was during a solar minimum. So what's going to happen is we progress upward on that graph to the point where we get to the peak of 2025. And just because we get to the peak and then we start sloping downward for another 5.5 years, that doesn't mean it's going to get better. Okay, because we're dealing in years here. 5.5 years up, 5.5 years down. So I guess what I'm trying to say is we're looking ahead at some very mysterious times. The governments around the world are acting very crazy in just about every country. That's a fact. Personally, I really don't have my finger on what they are doing. I have some ideas. Unfortunately, can't really mention those on the boob tube because, they'll start targeting you. I'm sure you guys all have your theories, and I'm sure you see everything that's happening out there in the world right now. And I'm not talking about earthquakes and volcanoes. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's happening in every country. Yeah. So, anyways, getting back to these photographs. These were the last photographs that I rendered at the end of August before I lost contact with the server. There was some programming updates that were going on, and the person who helps me out with it, she told me it may take up to a month, and it did. So now I'm back online. I have my access to it. I will probably go back through the whole entire month of September to see what I find. It may take me, a week to get through all of that. But I will do it. But I'm going to show you guys a photograph from February. Because what I was attempting to do right at the end of August was take some older photographs that weren't that clear. The resolution wasn't really good. And I put, one at a time through because it takes forever. Sometimes 3, 4 hours, 6 hours, sometimes even 8 hours if I put too much data. If I load too much data up into it, it takes forever. Then this came out. This came out at the same time the last photograph in August that I just showed you. They both came out at the same time. So this is from February. And again, the picture is worth everything. We could zoom into it. Let's take a closer look. And again, as I was stating just a little bit ago, as my microphone was freaking muted, some people would take a look at this photograph and say, oh, that's just a coronal prominence or a solar prominence. And when people say that to me or they leave those troll comments, I just laugh my ass off. I'm just like, are you retarded or what? I found this photograph to be one of my best, and it just amazed me. Why? Because we could clearly see that it is one massive object, and there is another object in tow. I don't know how big it is. All I can tell you is the larger sphere has to be massive. So if that object is that massive, and so far it has maintained that 20-day orbit around the sun, there is no doubt in my mind that the magnetic field, not only from the sun, but from that massive object, is affecting the Earth in very, very critical ways. Some ways I just can't define. But we are living the effects. We are seeing the effects. These things are being documented around the globe. And what do they blame it on? They blame it on climate change? Come on, man. I'm starting to sound like Joe Biden. Come on, man. That is a complete farce. And we all know it. We have influences that are coming and being directed towards this planet that we live on from what you're seeing on your screen, combined with the power and the energy from the sun. Do I think it's going to get worse? I'm not trying to be a fearmonger here, but yes, I do. I think as we progress further into this solar maximum leading up to 2025, yes, I do think things are going to get really bad. I used to think that it was only going to affect parts of the world. But I've changed my mind. I think our entire planet is going to go through some changes that are going to be eye-popping, that are going to be devastating, that are going to be life-threatening. And very unusual. Because it's not going to be normal, what is normal to us. I don't even know what to make of it anymore, to tell you the truth. I mean, we see what's happening. 90% of it doesn't play out in the mainstream media. They're too busy with this bullshit politics. But these governments, they've gone batshit crazy. Not just the United States. Look what's happening in Australia. Look what's happening in the UK. Look what's happening in Italy right now. All of these countries, all of them, there's financial turmoil. Financial markets are on the verge of collapsing. There are food shortages everywhere. Here in the United States, Great Britain, truckers going on strike, blockades, Australia, Italy, the UK. Gasoline moving, in trucks, tankers, stopped. For some of you guys that live in these other countries, you know what I'm talking about. I'm already starting to see the shortages in food here in the United States. My local Walmart. I know people that work there. I ask them, I've been asking them pretty much the last part of the summer, hey man, how come all these shelves are empty? Oh, we haven't gotten a truck. Oh, why haven't you gotten a truck? Well, some of the supply isn't available, or they don't have truckers. Supply and demand, yeah, there's demand, but there ain't no damn supply. Then we have the drought situation occurring out in the Midwest, out in the West, Utah. I think it's Utah. Just, the hell was it? The other day I read an article, a big gigantic lake reservoir is like almost completely dried up. And during the drying up process, an ancient village was found on the shorelines as all of that water just sunk down to critical levels. Yeah. The archaeologists were happy, but the drought situation is critical. So what's wintertime going to bring? I mean, I don't like wintertime, but I'm very, very curious to see what it's going to bring. And as we go through winter here in the northern hemisphere, in the southern hemisphere, they're moving into summer. Well, over the last several summers, we've all seen what has occurred in the southern hemisphere. Massive, massive, massive heat. Extreme heat. What are the cyclones going to be like? And the typhoons in the southern hemisphere? These storms are getting stronger, bigger, more intense. It just seems like everything is picking up on the upscale. So it's going to be somewhat of a wild time this winter in both hemispheres. So there'll be a lot to report on. There'll be a lot to talk about. And all of it ain't no damn good. And I personally don't think it has any damn thing to do with any kind of climate change that's been made by man. I think that's a complete crock. If you just put 2 and 2 together, you really don't have to be a scientist to figure it out. Are they ever going to admit that we have other bodies within our solar system that, aren't supposed to be here? They arrived here. It's not impossible. We're just this little teeny tiny puny solar system in a massive galaxy, in a massive universe that is ever expanding. So if a scientist or an astronomer tells me that what we're looking at is impossible, well, that guy or whoever deserves a swift kick in the nuts, because nothing else is going to wake that person up. We have all of the visual evidence. I have probably the largest documentation of what is occurring out there with these objects. Besides the governments, I think I can, safely say I think I have the largest amount of photographic evidence. Thousands of photographs. And as time has gone on, I've learned to use technology to to make it better. And as that technology's gotten better, it's actually opened up my eyes. Because before, I'll be quite honest, I really didn't fear any of this. I just thought, we'll probably see some meteors and, some asteroids from time to time that will get kicked, into the solar system, and, maybe some earthquakes and, volcanoes, kind of the normal shit. I was wrong about all that, because the earthquake intensity has picked up. The earth is popping out magnitude 7 earthquakes like it ain't nothing. Look what's happening with the volcanic situation. You all see that. You all see what's happening with our crazy weather. You're living that. We all see these governments in complete scandal around the world. You're all living that. What do we blame it on? What, it's all just a coincidence? I don't think so. When these governments don't know what to do, that's when they start lying and they start hiding everything. And then it's all just a conspiracy. Oh, don't pay attention to that guy. He's just a conspiracy theorist. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Then they send their minions out after you. Well, you know how I like to fight with them. I haven't had me a good troll fight in a long time. I guess they stopped bothering me because they know they're never going to win. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Yeah, so this is the same photograph. And you all know how to view these coronagraphs. This big black circle is the occulter. That's an internal part of the telescopic camera. It blocks out the rays of the sun, so you can get a good photograph without the light of the sun overexposing the camera. The white circle in the middle is the actual size of the sun. So when you look at this photograph, and it's pretty damn self-explanatory what the hell is going on. So, if this object has a very, very strong magnetic field, and as it's zipping around the sun in its very eccentric acute orbit, its magnetic field is being spun out through space, and yes, it is affecting our tiny little planet. And not in good ways. And I guess that's their idea of climate change. Because they're sure as hell not going to come out there and scare the world and tell you, hey, look what we found. Because if the world population saw this, heard about this, and knew about this, who the hell knows what would happen? There's a possibility that every government on this planet would lose complete control over their people as they continue to gain more control over their people. So who the hell knows? All I know is that over the past 5 years, I've been documenting all of this the best that I can. I've been trying to translate it into some form of normalcy, which is damn near impossible, because to all of us, it's not normal. You tend to want to think that it's all make-believe. But as time goes on, we're figuring it out. It's not make-believe, it's real. The day-to-day situations that we encounter are real. Everything that we've gone through throughout the end of 2019, the entire year of 2020, and 2/3 of this year have all been just like a masquerade. And I believe it's going to get worse. And I believe that every single person listening to me right now would probably agree with me. There may be one or two of you that don't, but that's okay. Because eventually, you're going to shake your head, and next thing you know, you're woke. I hate that word, but that's what it is. I wish I had a crystal ball so I could look into the future and I could tell everybody, yeah, it's going to be okay. But now, I'm starting to think a little deeper and deeper into what I know, what I have found out, and what I have seen, and what we're all living through. So you can't deny that. You can't deny what you're living through where you live. And I guess I'm just going to assume this, that nobody listening to me could just say, oh, hey, where I live, it's all peachy. No problems. None. Zero. Life is good. No weather problems, no government problems, no food shortages, no fuel shortages. We are on the verge of a world financial collapse. That is coming. I pay very, very close attention to what's happening in the financial world around the world. So, anyways, yeah. See, I really hate doing these kind of videos and live streams where, everything is so dark and down and, But I just try to be real with you folks. I try to tell you the complete truth. I don't try to, sugarcoat all of this. Where we're going to be in a few years from now, it's probably not going to be in a very good place. I don't know exactly what type of critical changes that our planet's going to go through, but it is going to go through some very drastic changes in the years to come. You can guarantee that. You could take it to the bank, but again, the bank might not be there. Prepare your minds, prepare yourself, keep on exploring, keep on digging, keep on increasing your knowledge. That's the best advice I can give you. And don't ever let anybody call you a conspiracy theorist. That's a bunch of bull. The conspiracies, they come true as more evidence comes out. That's a fact. But anyways, folks, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump out of here. And I'm going to jump back to this video that I put together for you guys so you can check this out. And there is also the tsunami simulation is within this video. and it's pretty breathtaking. The tsunami information, that scares me a little bit also, because that landslide into the ocean is massive. If that occurs, that's going to be massive. That is a massive displacement of Earth into the deep ocean right there. Because these little islands out there, these Canary Islands, they're just not flat little islands. These are huge, huge mountains, and the majority of it is underwater. So the ocean is very deep. And if you go ahead and you dump, however many cubic yards or feet or whatever, just slides right into the ocean, well, yeah, that's going to cause a little bit of a ripple. And in the simulation, they do say that if that does occur, the tsunami waves will reach the east coast of the United States in approximately 8 to 9 hours. Can you only imagine hearing that on the radio or in a news brief or by one of the YouTubers that you watch? Then it doesn't qualify as a conspiracy theory, does it? It moves straight into real life, real danger, a real situation that will cost people their lives, probably millions of people. And there will be no time. There will be no time to get a lot of those folks in the islands, Puerto Rico, the Caribbean islands, the Bahamas. Yeah. What's going to happen to those people? There'll be walls of water several hundred feet high that just wash right over these islands. So it's dim. Yeah, it's dark. It's not fun to talk about. But anywho, I'm going to go ahead and play this for you guys. I'll be here in the background in the chat. I'm going to get some other work done while this is playing. And the images from this volcano are just absolutely spectacular. The sound is crazy. And this is being videotaped from miles away with a high definition camera. And the sound that it is picking up is just incredible. Could you only imagine being there in real life? No, I couldn't. I wouldn't want to be there, but I'm just saying. But let's check this out. I'm going to turn my microphone off so there's no, reflection in the audio. So hopefully I remember to turn the damn thing back on. So if you don't hear me at the end, remind me in the chat to turn my mic back on. So check this out, folks.